and welcome to my channel. My name is Venus, and today I'm going over all of the books that I want to read in the month of March. There are quite a few of them because I have March off pretty much, still recovering from surgery. So I just wanted to make a list of a bunch of books that I can just pick from when I'm in the mood for certain genres. So there's all different kinds of genres on here. There's some Kindle Unlimited books, some ARCs that I need to get through. So let's just jump right into it. So carrying over from February is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. If you did not see my announcement talking about my little, very small, intimate read-along for the Stormlight Archives, I will link that down below. And I also created a Discord, not only for the read-along, but also just for my channel in general. It is free. It's just a bunch of us over there chatting about our TBRs and all kinds of other things. So definitely check that out if you're interested. But I am still making my way through The Way of Kings. I actually haven't gotten very far. I'm only like 50 pages in, and I can't even tell you what this book is about yet. So far, I'm getting a lot of war vibes from it, but I honestly, you know, when you start, especially a book this big, when you start a fantasy book, in the beginning, you literally have no idea what's going on. So I can't tell you much, but I am planning on finishing this in the month of March. The next set of books that I'm going to talk about, they're all ARCs that I want to make sure that I finish in March. And the first one is Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Cavanagh. This is a thriller book. It comes out March 19th. And so far, it's got really good reviews from, I guess, people that have received ARCs. There's over 4,000 ratings, and it's got a 4.35. I have never read anything from this author before, but I've heard really great things about it. I'm trying to see I don't even know what this book is about. So this Goodreads description, it says, one dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, two strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and an intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with the perfect, if you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband Scott is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will she ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is out there? Kill for Me, Kill for You will keep you breathless until the final page. Sounds like a quick book. I've been reading books like this, like thrillers and romances, in like 1 to 2 days, because like I said, I'm literally doing nothing but reading, so this will probably be a quick read. Next ARC I need to get to is called Bloodwork, and it's by Melissa Demirel. This one actually came out February 21st. Looks like it's pretty short. It's only 261 pages. It is a horror. It's romance? Is it romance? I thought it was a horror. Let's see what the description says. It says, a lonely serial killer, a bored vampire nurse. What happens when a devil makes a deal with another devil? Timothy is a serial killer. He's also very lonely. He's a walking contradiction, and his psychological predicament doesn't escape him. Lynette is a vampire. She's also a nurse. So am I. She too is a walking contradiction. When she unexpectedly answers his desperate call for company, they realize they could be perfect partners in crime, engaging in a few kinds of blood work at once, bringing out the worst and the best in each other. Okay, reviews are like 3 to 4 stars, so, I don't know, is this like a romance horror? I have no idea. It just says romance is the genre for this on Goodreads. We'll see how this goes. The next ARC is actually a book that I put on my most anticipated reads for 2024, and it's called Exit Black by Joe Pitkin. This one is sci-fi, and it says Die Hard meets The Martian with a dash of Knives Out. And this action-packed sci-fi thriller. Not too many reviews on here yet from people that got the art. Well, it's actually out now. 5 and 4 stars. So hopefully I like that one also. And then the last And then the last ARC that I'm super excited to get to is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. She is one of my favorite auto-buy romance authors, and I'm very excited to read this one. This one actually has over 1,600 ratings, and it's at 4.76 right now. So I'm not surprised. I've rated all of her books 4 to 5 stars. And this was also on my most Golly, I'm tongue-tied today. This was also on my most anticipated reads for 2024. And this says, Justin has a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, it's now all over the internet. Every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come up with a plan. They'll date each other and break up. Their curses will cancel each other's out. They'll both go on to find the love of their lives. It's a bonkers idea, and it just might work. And then it goes on from there. I cannot wait to read this one. I'm sure this might be like a one-sitting read because I love her books and I have nothing else to do. So very excited to read this one. Okay, so the next book has been all over the place. Actually, this author has been all over the place. Frieda McFadden. She's a thriller author. I have never read any of her books, and I knew I wanted to make sure I tried to get to some of them while I had some time off, especially. So I'm going to start with The Teacher that just came out. It's actually on Kindle Unlimited. So I am going to try my very first Frieda McFadden book. I know nothing about this story, and I'm actually going to keep it that way. Apparently there's some crazy twists in this book. So I am really looking forward to trying this author's books because I do really hear great things about her writing. One of my goals for 2024 was to read more classics. So my classic pick for March is going to be Persuasion by Jane Austen. I haven't read a Jane Austen book, God, in probably like 15 years. So I really can't wait to just get immersed in her stories. I remember loving her writing when I was younger. And this one is one of the shorter ones, so I don't even remember what this one is about. It says, Anne Elliot has only one regret, that she listened to her family and broke off her engagement to Captain Wentworth. Oh, I think I remember this one. He was poor, but they were in love, and she didn't realize that love was enough. But Anne has a new chance. Captain Wentworth has returned from the Royal Navy. With everything stacked against her, can she overcome their heartbreak and persuade him to love her again? Beautifully presented for a modern teen audience. Oh, it's because of the cover. I'm like, what? I didn't buy a rewrite, did I? Yeah, this cover is like very Twilight feeling, so I bought this years ago. Oh, I can't wait to get back to reading classics again, so very excited to read this one. Another one of my goals for 2024 was to make my way through Stephen King books, and for March I'm reading The Institute. I don't know very much about this one either. I heard it's like got like Stranger Things vibes to it, and it's one of his higher rated books as well. This one says the playground was surrounded by a chain link fence at least 10 feet high, and Luke saw cameras peering down at two of the corners. They were dusty as if they hadn't been cleaned in a while. Beyond the fence there was nothing but forest, mostly pines. Whatever the Institute was, it was in the middle of an old-growth forest, which meant in the middle of nowhere. As for the playground itself, Luke's first thought was that if there were ever a prison exercise yard for kids between the ages of 6 and 16, it would look exactly like this. The girl Iris saw them and waved. She double-bounced on the trampoline. "Shaw, who you got there?" "This is Luke Ellis," Kalisha said. "New this morning." I don't know. Of course, it's long, of course, but that's my Stephen King pick for March. I also wanted to make sure that I continued with my fantasy series, so very excited about this one. This is A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. It is the first book in the Age of Madness series, part of the First Law world, and I cannot wait to jump into this one because I hear that this series is even better than the First Law trilogy, which I can't imagine. I cannot imagine, so I am so excited to read this book. If you're not familiar with Joe Abercrombie, he is known for grimdark fantasy, which is my favorite subgenre of fantasy, and his character work is just perfect. The humor in his books is my favorite, aside from the characters, but the humor in his books, his writing, is just top-notch, and I always have such a great time when I'm reading his books, so cannot wait to get to this one. And then my last two books, these are both on Kindle Unlimited. Sometimes I just randomly add things to my library and they just sit there forever, so my Kindle Unlimited library. So I'm trying to also make my way through those as well. And I used to really love reading cozy mysteries. It's been quite a while since I've actually sat down and read any cozy mysteries, and this first one really caught my attention because the sleuth detective works in a bar, and this book seems to revolve around beer, which I love IPAs. And if you're not familiar with cozy mysteries, they usually take some theme, and the sleuth detective either works in this environment or it's like a small town, just very like niche things. It can be like, I don't know, like tea. I think I tried to read one about tea, which bored me to death. Cats, libraries, like all kinds of different themes for a lot of these cozy mysteries. And this one is beer. This one says, when Sloane Krause walks in on her husband Mac screwing the barmaid, Jesus, okay, let's start off that way, she gives him the boot. Sloane has spent her life in Leavenworth, Washington, becoming an expert in brewing craft beer, and she doesn't have time to be held back by her soon-to-be ex-husband. She decides to strike out on her own, breaking away from the Krause family brewery, and goes to work for Nitro, the hip new nano brewery in the Bavarian-themed town. Nitro's owner, brewmaster Garrett Strong, has the brew world abuzz with his newest recipe, Pucker Up IPA. This place is the new cool place in town, and Matt can't help but be green with envy at their success. But just as Sloane is settling into her new gig, she finds one of Nitro's competitors dead in the fermenting tub, clutching the secret recipe for the IPA. When Mac is arrested, Sloane knows that her ex might be a cheater, but a murderer? No way. Danger is brewing. Haha, little pun there, and Beervaria, and suddenly Sloane is on the case. I mean, this just sounds cute and fun. So. And then this last one, if you have like a paper white Kindle, you know how sometimes they have like advertisements for books on it? This one I saw and I was like, I think I might try this one. It's a romance. It's called Through the Glen. It is the third book in a series, the Highland series. It's by Samantha Young, and it's got so many high ratings from booktubers, romance booktubers that I follow. So I was like, I think I'm going to try this one. Hopefully I won't have to have read the first two books because I think it's just siblings. And usually when there's romance books with like siblings getting their own book, I feel like you really can read them in any order. If you've read this series though, and I shouldn't read it this way, please let me know. But this one is, he's a cynical, world-weary Londoner. She's a shy Scot. I love that it takes place in Scotland too. They might seem like opposites, but a few weeks in the Highlands will bring them together in ways they can't imagine. Theo Cavendish is the second son of a British Viscount, and he spent years running from aristocratic world he grew up in. Betrayal and loss taught him lessons he's not quick to forget. As an award-winning screenwriter and creator, Theo prefers to throw himself into the world of film and television. He moves from one project to another, never really letting anyone truly know him. As a housekeeper at the exclusive Ardnach estate, shy Sarah McCullough feels invisible most days. No one really knows her, and they definitely don't know she's a best-selling crime writer. Interesting. And then it goes from there. So this was just a random pick of mine. Samantha Young. Have I read any of her books? It looks like I have a lot of her books on my want to read list on Goodreads, but I don't think I've read any of her books. I feel like I've read something by Samantha Young. Yeah, I have a bunch of books by her on my want to read list, but I've never read any of her books, so hopefully I enjoy this one. So those are all of the books that I want to try to get to in the month of March. Sometimes I add and take away stuff just depending on library holds. Libby has been one day saying these books that I put on hold won't be ready for like months, and then all of a sudden they're ready the next day. I have no idea what magic that is, but it really throws my TBR off sometimes. But and then I don't like doing the like deliver later, because then when I'm ready to read it, it's another couple months before I get it. It's just weird. So I try to read them when they're available. So my TBR can get a little crazy sometimes. As always, thank you guys for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. As always, have a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon. See ya.